solutions to environmental problems. Because of globalization, we can buy and eat the food we want. We can travel around the world. Increasing job. We have modern technologies and etc. Because of its positive effect on people, we are no longer aware that we are gradually destroying nature. So some of the famous countries and companies are helping to reduce the destruction of environment.
Climate change affects all of us. Globally, we are seeing more weather extremes such as droughts and flash floods. Singapore is fully committed to do our part to fight climate change. One of our priorities as we work on the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals. Since our independence, we have worked hard to build a green and sustainable environment for Singaporeans. We believe that the pursuit of both economic growth and environmental protection is not contradictory, but complementary. We use natural gas to generate most of our electricity and are among the 20 most carbon-efficient countries in the world. Singapore was among the first 55 countries to ratify Paris Agreement. We aim to reduce our emission intensity by 36% from 2005 levels by 2030. We designated 2018 as the year of climate action to raise domestic awareness and spur collective action. We are implementing an economy-wide carbon tax with no sectoral exemptions. We will be among the first countries in Asia to do so. We are also investing in solar energy and clean technology, developing more sustainable buildings, expanding our public transport infrastructure, and providing a car-light urban environment. We have achieved a circular economy in our water sector by endlessly recycling the water we use. Going forward, we will also pursue a circular economy in the waste and material resources sector, investing in R&D and emerging technologies. Our integrated waste management facility will generate electricity, recover material such as metals and recyclables, and reduce the strain on our only landfill. But we're only a small city-state. To make a global impact, we need to work with other countries, with each country making a contribution. We are committed to help others. Since 1992, over 119,000 officials from 170 countries have been trained under the Singaporean Cooperation Program. As 2018 ASEAN Chair, Singapore is working to strengthen regional commitment to climate action. Countries, international organizations, NGOs, and individuals all need to work together in partnership to combat climate change. Let us all work together to make a clean and sustainable environment a reality for future generations.
In 2019, Adidas expects to make 11 million pairs of shoes with recycled ocean plastic. That's more than double what it made in 2018. Adidas says the partnership has prevented 2,810 tons of plastic from reaching the oceans. But how are these shoes made? It all starts at the beach. Parley and its partners collect trash from coastal areas like the Maldives. The waste is then sorted, and the recovered plastic is sent to an Adidas processing plant. Adidas uses plastic bottles that contain polyethylene terephthalate, or PET. And if it's something Adidas can't use, like caps and rings, those get sent to normal recycling facilities. The processing plant crushes, washes, and dehydrates the waste, leaving nothing but small plastic flakes. The flakes are heated, dried, and cooled, then cut into small resin pellets. Normally, polyester is made from petroleum, but Adidas melts these pellets to create a filament, which is spun into what they call ocean plastic, a form of polyester yarn. Adidas uses ocean plastic to form the upper parts of shoes and clothing like jerseys. Each item in the Parley collection is made from at least 75% intercepted marine trash, and they still meet the same performance and comfort standards of Adidas's other shoes. Recycled polyester uses less water and fewer chemicals and helps prevent plastic pollution. Adidas' goal is to replace all virgin polyester with recycled polyester by 2024. Currently, more than 40% of Adidas apparel uses recycled polyester. You may have seen Adidas recycled sportswear without even noticing it. Clothing made with ocean plastic has been used in college football, baseball, the NHL, the Australian Open, and more. But this doesn't eliminate plastic pollution entirely. Washing polyester clothing can create microfibers, which may end up in the ocean. Adidas suggests that customers wash their clothes less often, use cold water, and fully fill the machine each time. But this is just the first step. Adidas is also developing a 100% recyclable shoe called the Futurecraft Loop. The shoe is made to be remade because it can be returned and broken down to create a brand new pair. Futurecraft Loop is expected to be available in 2021. With the help of Parley for the Oceans, Adidas is using readily available material to manufacture new products, which is a big step towards a sustainable future.
This is a floating rubbish bin. It collects garbage from the sea. It's designed to be near ports, marinas, and yacht clubs. It has pumps which create a flow of water. This brings rubbish into the bin. The rubbish and debris are caught in a catch bag. Water then flows out back into the sea. The company, Seven, says they never had fish caught up in the bin. This is after 4 years of testing. The Seven is being trialed at various ports across Europe. It will then become a commercial product. The bins themselves are made from recycled plastic. They will cost around €2,500.
Let's clear the air. What can London learn from other polluted cities? Nanjing, China. Vertical forest. Nanjing Green Towers will be the first vertical forest built in Asia. Architect Stefano Bori plans to build his first forest city in China by 2020. Milan, Italy. Smog-eating buildings. The cement in this building absorbs smog from the air. It turns chemicals like nitrous oxide into harmless salts. The salts then wash off the walls when it rains. Beijing, China. Ventilation corridors. The Chinese capital is planning to create 5 ventilation corridors measuring 1,640 feet wide. The passageways will hold parks, rivers, lakes, highways, and low building blocks. They are designed to improve airflow and disperse pollutants. Madrid, Spain. Car-free city center. By 2020, 500 acres of Madrid's city center will be car-free. Currently, when air pollution gets too high, only half of private cars are allowed on the road, depending on whether their registration begins with an odd or even number. Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Smog vacuum cleaner. The 23 feet tall purifier can clean up to 1 million cubic feet of air every hour. It creates a 360-degree clean air bubble. Collected carbon particles are turned into jewelry. #clear the air. Making zero-emission factories could depend on this green stuff. Algae. One of the world's largest cement manufacturers had found a way to make cement without emitting carbon dioxide. That's a big deal because making cement releases a lot of greenhouse gases. Four trillion kilograms of cement are created globally each year, spewing about 2 trillion kilograms of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Cement is a big polluter because it requires a lot of limestone. When it's heated, limestone emits large amounts of carbon dioxide, and fossil fuels are burned to heat the kiln, releasing more carbon dioxide. So, how does algae clean up the process? It captures the carbon dioxide. Like plants, algae perform photosynthesis, the process of consuming carbon dioxide when in sunlight. But these microbes are much more effective. It's like trees on steroids. The algae feed on the cement plant's exhaust gases, consuming 40% of carbon dioxide in the first feed. Eventually, it eats up all the carbon dioxide, growing in numbers and becoming rich in fat and proteins. Factory hopes to siphon off the excess algae and sell it to the manufacturers of chicken and fish food. It'll help pay for the algae technology.
Did you know that on average, 7 million hectares of tropical forests disappear every year? The equivalent of 26 football fields every minute. Most of it comes from agriculture, whether from efficient, large farming businesses or low-yield smallholder farmers. But in order to feed our rising population, farmers need to produce more, and their most cost-effective solution is for them to deforest new terrain. However, today, nearly 40% of our land surface is already dedicated to agriculture. If this goes on, we won't tackle the climate crisis or meet the Sustainable Development Goals. It is critical that we transition to deforestation-free agriculture. But there are obstacles. First, farmers need technical knowledge to increase yields and at the same time preserve existing forests. Communities and businesses need incentives to restore degraded landscapes, and they need the capacity to implement integrated agroforestry systems where crops, cattle, and forest are mixed. Second, the transition also requires considerable funds, which farmers need to borrow from someone. But lenders and investors face costs and financial risks when financing the transition to sustainable farming. There is a need for governments, public and private finance institutions to scale up the availability of tools such as credit guarantees and junior or first loss loans. These are forms of insurance in case the borrower cannot reimburse his loan. The lender is covered for part of his losses, lowering the risk of such an investment. Grants are also needed to support smallholder farmers with training, development, and replanting, as well as monitoring the progress of businesses and communities to stop deforestation. By coordinating the appropriate government, financial, and corporate actors, UN Environment and partners can trigger a transformational shift in leveraging public funding to unlock and scale up private finance flowing to saving forests, restoring landscapes, and transitioning to climate-smart agriculture. Let's work together to make this global transformation happen.
This is the Guimaras oil spill of 2006, and it's the worst of its kind in the Philippines' history. More than 130,000 gallons of bunker oil gushed into the Panay Gulf. In an attempt to contain the spill, locals turned to an unconventional method. These freaky-looking sausage things aren't all filled with synthetic materials fabricated in a lab. It's also organic stuff you can find on most continents and probably in your shower drain. It's human hair. After the Exxon Valdez oil spill in Alaska, Phil McCroy, a hairstylist in Alabama, had a novel idea for the cleanup effort. On TV, he noticed how a sea otter's fur had become saturated with oil and thought if that's what oil would do to an otter's fur, then the same must be true for human hair. He took scraps of hair trimmings from work, stuffed them into his wife's pantyhose, and tested his new invention in a small spill he created at his house. NASA studied and confirmed Phil's invention worked.
I called every hairstylist in Alabama till I found him. He said that his garage was full of hair being donated from salons all over the place, but he had never been able to make a business out of it. And so from like around 2000, 2001, we were partners.
They teamed up on the Clean Wave program. It collects donated hair, fur, feathers, and other fibers to make recycled felted mats and hair booms that can mop up oil spills. Turns out, hair is pretty good at cleaning up oil. It repels water and can collect contaminants.
Water goes into a sponge and it blows up, and that's called absorbent. But oil coats hair on the outside, so it's called adsorbent.
Hair is also natural, cheap, and renewable, which makes it an ideal material for cleaning up oil spills. Making a hair boom is pretty straightforward. All you need is human hair and pantyhose. Take the hair, stuff it into the hose, and voila. After getting over the freaky feeling of handling someone else's clumped up hair, place it into contaminated water and watch the hair boom do its thing.
There's little diesel spills all the time. So every little harbor can use that stuff. It was a great way to just kind of string from dock to dock and kind of protect your private beaches.
But hair booms and hair mats haven't been the principal method to clean major oil spills. They weren't used extensively in the aftermath of the Deepwater Horizon spill, where over the course of 87 days, 134 million gallons of oil gushed into the Gulf of Mexico. Instead, crews used 1.8 million gallons of chemical dispersants, oil skimmers, fire, and booms and barriers made of synthetic material to clean up the mess. With oil spills, time is of the essence. The longer oil is in the ocean, the harder it is to retrieve. The immediate ecological impact of oil spills is obvious. It kills marine wildlife and destroys habitats and breeding grounds. The chemicals used to clean up oil spills also pose a danger to human health. As of now, hair booms and hair mats are not the primary tools used to contain oil spills. But possibly one day, they could be.
It was very interesting for us to see the public desire to help. There's so many hair salons in every city.
And billions more people with hair to spare. So it's not out of the realm of possibilities that help for the next oil spill may be just one snip away.
Our nature is very important, so we must take care of it. The solution to the problem is to start with ourselves, by disposing of waste in proper landfills, planting trees, conserving energies and water. Through it, we can greatly help our environment.